What if I told you that a whopping 80% of small businesses in Nigeria fail within their first 5 years?
Wow, 80%.
And for more than 95% of them, that failure comes even faster within that exact same critical period.
That's incredibly high.
It is. And this isn't just some grim statistic, you know. It represents a colossal yet critically underserved economic engine right across Africa.
Absolutely. In Nigeria alone, SMEs, that small and medium-sized enterprises, make up something like 97% of the economy.
97%. And provide over 70% of all jobs.
That's right. They're literally the backbone.
So this deep dive is about understanding why this extreme fragility exists and how a new strategic blueprint for a SaaS platform, it's actually called Restart, aims to fundamentally turn the tide.
Okay. Restart sounds promising.
Our mission today, then, is to unpack these systemic challenges facing African SMEs, explore Restart's innovative localized solution is built on a pretty powerful existing module, and really understand its potential to empower entrepreneurs.
Sounds great. Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's unpack this. We're talking about businesses that are, undeniably the backbone of the economy, yet they're incredibly unstable. That 80% failure rate, it's just staggering. What's really going on behind these alarming stats?
Well, it's more than just a commercial problem, isn't it? That statistic, the 80% and even 95% failure rate within 5 years, it directly impacts unemployment, poverty.
Yeah, it must create a real downward spiral.
Exactly. It creates a negative feedback loop that constrains economic growth. It means the very foundation of the economy is kind of at risk. It's a crisis for individuals, sure, but also for the nation.
Right. So beyond the big economic picture, what about the internal stuff? The report mentions internal challenges.
It does, and these are often overlooked. First, there's inadequate funding. Now, many entrepreneurs start with personal savings. We know that.
That seems common everywhere, really.
True, but the deeper issue here, the report suggests, is a significant lack of documented data. Data that proves financial health, operational viability, the kind of stuff formal institutions need to see.
So without that data, they're basically invisible to banks.
Pretty much. They're effectively unbanked from a data perspective, and that makes it nearly impossible to unlock institutional credit.
Okay, funding is one. What else? Management skills.
Yes, management skills are often cited, but here's a key insight from the report. It's not just a simple lack of skills.
Oh, what's the nuance there?
It's that the constant firefighting, the sheer fragmentation of tools they use, and the absence of clear data, these things actually prevent even capable entrepreneurs from developing and applying effective management strategies.
So the environment itself hinders good management.
Precisely. You get deficits in financial management, marketing operations. It leads to inefficient practices, poor decisions. And sometimes, that desire to be your own boss means discipline commitment can be harder to maintain when you're just trying to stay afloat. It actively contributes to failure.
Okay, that makes sense. And you mentioned fragmentation.
Ah, yes, fragmentation. This is where the systemic problem really, really shows itself. Entrepreneurs often cobble together what the report calls a chaotic patchwork of disparate single-point solutions.
Chaotic patchwork.
Huh?
Like what? Give me an example.
Imagine running your business. You're maybe using QuickBooks for your accounts, Paystack for taking payments, Zoho for your customer relationships, maybe Buffer for social media.
Right, lots of different apps.
Exactly. Each tool does its job, but they don't talk to each other. You can almost picture the entrepreneur, right? Bouncing between browser tabs, manually inputting data here, checking it there. It's a productivity nightmare.
So what does that actually mean for the entrepreneur who's just trying to keep their head above water with all these separate systems? It sounds like tons of extra work, obviously, but maybe a lack of clarity.
It absolutely is, and that fragmentation you just mentioned creates this fundamental pain point. It goes way deeper than just being inconvenient.
Okay, how so?
Well, instead of having a single source of truth, one place to see everything, the entrepreneur gets this fractured, incomplete view of their business.
Right. Bits of information everywhere.
Exactly. They waste so much valuable time and energy just on manual data entry, trying to reconcile things across different systems. And the scattered data, it directly contributes to poor management, financial instability. It makes making data-driven decisions almost impossible.
So the tech they do use almost becomes a burden.
In many ways, yes. It robs them of that clear overview, that peace of mind you need to actually run a business effectively.
Given all that, it really seems like technology should be the obvious answer, right, to streamline things. But the report mentions a digital divide. What's stopping African SMEs from fully embracing digital tools if, As you said, they're using things like social media.
That's an excellent point, and there's an important distinction to make here. Nigerian SMEs are digitally engaged, particularly for simple, user-friendly platforms. The data shows something like 96% have adopted some form of digital marketing. Social media, mobile marketing, they're very popular for customer engagement. So this confirms the audience is receptive to intuitive solutions. They'll use tech if it's easy and solves a clear problem.
There's always a but.
Yeah. A significant digital divide persists when you look at more sophisticated technologies. Things like enterprise resource planning systems, ERPs, or AI, IoT. Adoption of those is critically low. We're talking less than 5% among African SMEs.
Less than 5%. Wow. And it's not because they don't see the benefits.
Apparently not. The report suggests they do understand the benefits, like better productivity, more efficiency. So if they know it could help, the question becomes, what are the real barriers holding them back?
What are they?
The report lists the top 5. Number 1, lack of finance. No surprise there. 2, insufficient government support. 3, a lack of what's called integrative capability.
Integrative capability. What's that exactly?
It basically means the ability to actually integrate and effectively use new technologies within their existing operations. It's one thing to buy software, another thing to make it work seamlessly.
Got it. Okay, what else?
4 is core infrastructure. Think unreliable power, spotty internet. That's a huge practical barrier.
Definitely.
And finally, number 5, a kind of deeply ingrained resistance to moving away from traditional, often manual ways of doing things. Old habits die hard.
Okay, this really highlights a clear product design challenge then. You absolutely cannot just drop a complex, expensive ERP system into that environment and expect it to magically work.
No way, it would fail.
So if those are the barriers, and just throwing complex tech at it isn't the answer, what is the clever approach here? How does this Restart platform plan to bridge that gap without getting bogged down?
Right. So Restart's mission fundamentally is to be the essential business operating system for African SMEs and solopreneurs. The goal is to empower them to transition from merely surviving, just keeping the lights on, to actively thriving in the digital economy.
From surviving to thriving.
I
like that.
Yeah, and their value proposition centers on being a powerful yet remarkably simple, all-in-one platform.
All-in-one and simple. That sounds like the sweet spot.
Exactly. It centralizes operations, gives that single clear view of the business we talked about, and aims to provide order, control, and frankly, peace of mind by automating those mundane, time-consuming tasks. It's described as a human-centric approach to a B2B product designed for the actual entrepreneur, not just a big corporation.
That vision is powerful, moving from surviving to thriving. I can imagine for many entrepreneurs listening, that shift is a huge aspiration. But how does Restart actually achieve this all-in-one simplicity and pack in all those features without, massive development costs or years of development, especially for a startup?
Yeah, that's the crucial strategic piece. Restart made a really smart move. They decided to build upon the robust, battle-tested, Perfect CRM SaaS module.
Perfect CRM. Okay, unpack that a bit for listeners who aren't deep in the SaaS world.
Sure. Think of Perfect CRM as a comprehensive, well-established platform. It handles customer relationships, CRM, project management, finances, invoicing, a lot of the core stuff businesses need. It's like a ready-made, powerful engine.
Okay, so they're not starting from absolute scratch.
Not at all. Restart is smartly building on top of this existing engine, but then deeply customizing it for the specific African context. This dramatically cuts down the time and money needed for that initial development.
Which lets them focus elsewhere.
Precisely. They can focus on localization, getting the product market fit right, and actually reaching entrepreneurs, rather than spending years just building the basic plumbing. It's a very clever
So what core features does it offer, leveraging this perfect CRM base? How do they tackle those challenges we discussed?
Well, the features directly map onto those problems. You've got project management tools for better operational organization and efficiency that tackles the poor operational planning.
Makes sense.
Then there's one-click invoicing and estimates. That directly mitigates poor financial management and, importantly, starts generating those essential data points for tracking financial health.
Building that data track record.
Exactly. There's also leads and CRM management to address inadequate market research and help build a vital sales pipeline. Plus, reporting and analytics to enable smarter, data-driven decisions, turning raw data into actual insights.
And automation, you mentioned that.
Yes, crucial. Automation features free up critical time for high-value activities. For small teams or even solopreneurs, that's absolutely vital. Getting routine tasks off their plate is huge.
And what about scaling? If a business using Restart grows, does the system grow with them?
That's another advantage of using the perfect CRM SaaS module. It's engineered for scalability and something called multi-tenancy.
Multi-tenancy.
Yeah, basically it means the platform is built to efficiently serve many different businesses, securely, all at once. Think of it like a well-run apartment building. Each business gets its own secure, customized space, but the underlying infrastructure is shared and optimized.
So it's cost-effective and grows easily.
Exactly. It ensures seamless performance as businesses grow without needing expensive, disruptive system overhauls later on. Plus, it allows for deep customization, the report calls it, creating a bespoke asset, tailoring it for specific industry needs down the line.
This sounds incredibly well thought out, especially using that Perfect's foundation. But Africa, as we know, has unique challenges that go way beyond just typical business operations. How does Restart truly address what the report calls the African problem? What are those specific local solutions they've baked?
This is really where Restart's unique edge comes in that local first layer. It's not just an afterthought. One of the biggest headaches, as we know, is payment fragmentation.
Right. You mentioned over 42 currencies.
Exactly. And a strong preference for all sorts of different payment methods. Mobile money is huge, local bank transfers. Managing all that is a massive pain point for entrepreneurs.
So what's Restart's solution?
Native in-platform integration with the leading local payment gateways. Think Paystack, Flutterwave, the ones people actually use day to day.
Native integration, meaning it's built right in.
Yes, this is critical. It's not just listed as a feature. The report stresses it's a strategic necessity. It allows for seamless payments right within the platform, in local currency. No more juggling separate systems, no more painful manual reconciliation. It aims to make transactions effortless and transparent.
That sounds like a game changer. What about currency volatility? You hear about currencies like the Naira fluctuating wildly.
Another major issue, it complicates financial planning enormously and can hammer profitability. Restart's approach here is a multi-currency pricing model.
How does that work?
The underlying contracts, the sort of base price, are anchored to a stable currency like the US dollar. But crucially, customers can pay their bills in their local currency at the prevailing exchange rate.
Ah, okay. So Restart gets stability, but the customer gets flexibility.
Precisely. It provides financial stability for Restart as a business while offering that vital payment flexibility and predictability to its customers in their own currency. It's a smart way to handle a very tricky problem.
Okay, so this is clearly a niche that desperately needs filling. But what's the actual market like for this kind of all-in-one, locally focused solution? Are there other players trying to solve these problems for African SMEs, or is Restart basically walking into an empty field?
Definitely not an empty field, but it's certainly a fragmented one, full of its own challenges. You can broadly group the competition into maybe three categories.
Okay, what are they?
First, you have the global giants. Think Zoho, CRM, Odoo, Sage, HubSpot. These guys are feature-rich, no doubt. But their pricing is usually in US dollars, which is often prohibitive for many African SMEs. Remember, the report said over 64% of businesses have a monthly turnover less than N50,000. That's not much. Plus, these global platforms are often complex and just not designed with the specific nuances of the African market in mind.
Right, not tailored enough. Okay, category 2.
Second, you've got local vertical solutions, companies like O's or Capital. These platforms are often excellent at solving very specific high-value problems, like maybe credit risk assessment or tech-enabled banking services.
So they're good, but narrow.
Exactly. They're single-point fixes, not comprehensive business suites. They might solve one part of the puzzle brilliantly, but they still leave the entrepreneur piecing together everything else. Back to that fragmentation issue.
Got it. And the third category?
Third, you have the third-party integrators.